Hello there folks, welcome back to the Neil Robertson Pro Career on Snooker 19. Today it is time for part 75 of Season 4 and today we play the quarter-final of the Coral Players Championship against the Belgian Bullet, Luca Bracel. It's a best of 7, so first to 4, and the good news is we've got quite a good record against Luca Bracel. The current matchup record, I think looking very quickly, is 6-3. We've beaten him mostly over the last few years. You can see there was one blip where he beat us fairly comfortably in this year's World Open in the quarter-final. But as you can see, equally, we beat him comfortably in our last encounter. Again, another best of 7. Of course, it was only the last tournament in the last 16 of the Coral Grand Prix. Actually, it was the tournament before that, wasn't it? Because we've had the shootout in between. But nevertheless, in the last Coral event, we beat him fairly easily. So, he beat us twice in the first season, but since then, we haven't really looked back apart from one blip. So I'm fairly confident we can get past Bracel today. But I think it's like a lot of these players, and again, it comes down to us as well. It depends what version turns up. Whether we get a Bracel who plays really well and could blow us out the park and beat us 4-0. I'm finding that in some of these matches, it's very much one way or the other, whereby we dominate or we're completely out of it. But when the other players come out and play well, we've had some great battles with Mark Allen, Judd Trump, Mark Williams, Mark Selby over the last few months in episodes, whereby it's gone to deciders and close matches. But players like Bracel, I think because of our ranking and the way we're playing, I think we should look to get past Bracel, but ultimately, it's not about ranking really. He's got to the quarter-final. We beat a player who was better than us ranking-wise in the last round, in the last 16. We beat Mark Allen fairly comfortably by 4 frames to 1 to get here to the quarter-final. It's the same match length here, so I don't think we'll have much of an issue, but with these shorter matches, it's very much about how you start. I think it's those first 2 frames, really, first 2 or 3 frames, that can be crucial. Of course, it's not everything, because even if you're 3-0 down, you can bring it back, but momentum is an amazing thing in snooker. And I hope you're all good. Obviously, goes without saying that I've been watching a lot of the World Snooker Championships over the last week. It's been a week since it started now. And I'm really enjoying it, I have to say. I watched O'Sullivan go out to Anthony McGill last night, which is a real surprise. Really was. But McGill played well. Get all the idiots out the woodwork now going, well, it's all over because Ronnie's not in it. Well, give over. But a very good shot player played by Bracel, I have to say. Let's see if we can get out of this fairly thin. Could have a good chance if we swerve this at the right pace.
Well, I think he's trying to swerve this.
Oh, it's too hard. We have hit it, but it's going to be a bit on the thick side. Need that blue to come to our rescue. It might have just done, you know.
Very well judged shot.
Goodness me, that is a bit of fortune there early on. But it was a decent shot. Okay, we got it wrong slightly, but again, it seemed to work fairly well for us. And after that, it's given us a chance. I think this red does pass the other one. Yep, should do. This does give us a good chance, and we like our long pots. Sometimes they go wrong, but I'm fairly confident here. Try and hold the cue ball in a similar position. That'll do, and we can line up for the blue. And try and get some sort of break underway. The black will go here, so that's good reference to know.
We know what a prolific long potter he is, so I'd assume he'd take this on.
But I was just looking back before this episode, and we did get to the semi-final 2 years ago. And obviously the snooker rankings run on a 2-year system, so it'd be great to go even better than that this time. That would be excellent. Got to get past Bracel though first, and of course our semi-final opponent. Now this black, it's tough, and to be honest, I mean we've come a little bit too far down the table for it. And looking at the risk versus reward, it doesn't open up the table enough for me. So I think we'll go for the blue. Try once again at our hand to get on the black, because if we can get on the black, that's really the key to opening up this frame.
Very nicely done.
So we'll give it one more go. Need to play this with topspin really to get off the cushion, but not too much pace. Underhit that slightly, so we might be right on the cushion. That makes things a bit awkward now. The black will go. But where do we go from there?
Would have wanted that under better control, really.
There's not really anything that will go. So I think we might be best. No, I'm going to play safe here. That black just in an awkward position, and we're too close to the cushion to make any real impact. So You could say, yes, well, you should have got the 7 points, but the safety shot is much harder from there, and I think there's a, well, very low probability that we'd be on anything after that, so... We'll just play the safety shot, slightly overhit, so he's not quite in that snooker. Good target there. Oh, wow.
Foul and a miss. Neil
Well,
Robertson.
the reason we were a little bit inaccurate there is because he didn't hit red at all.
Free ball.
So that gives away penalty points of 4 points. But because we did play a good safety overall, again, there wasn't much we were going to leave on. We have given away the 4 points, but nothing more. It's a bit of a pity, though. Don't want to be giving away too many reckless points like that. It's all about fine margins, though, this game.
That's an excellent shot.
We've done it again.
There's contact with the brown. That'll be a foul.
Foul and a miss.
So slightly off our marks here at the start. Not quite getting things right. Obviously want to try and hit these thin, but not too thin that you don't hit them at all. Again, it's a fine balance. So probably hit that one a bit too hard. But if this hits the yellow at the right angle, no, it's not quite. Thought we might have been able to sneak in behind the brown, but there was just too much pace anyway. I think it would have put Brissell out of a snooker anyway. But that's quite an aggressive shot as well. And he's had that dreaded kiss on the blue, which I suppose does put the blue safe, which makes it a little bit less tempting. But it's moved the red that was initially impeding the position of the black. So much more tempted to take on the black now.
Beautifully done.
And that really, after the few, I wouldn't say chances, because to be fair we didn't, but after the few penalty points we gave away, you could have thought that Brissell might have took the initiative, but didn't, and it's us with a second chance. But let's be fair, our first real chance in this opening frame.
Nine.
Don't want to be too aggressive and open things up. Just want to take this one at a time until we're really comfortable that we can get some sort of position. It's going to be a few shots here just to get perfect position and open things up.
16.
Just going through the motions really here, I would say. But all the time we do it, I moan that, well, you know, we're trying to get position, but all throughout doing that was sticking on the black and getting good points. So I'm not going to complain too much about that.
24.
Bit of a cutback here. The problem is the blue's not onto its current position, so we might have misjudged that one slightly. See what we can do. Now we're just going to go up the table. Have we got a chance to the middle? I don't think we have. None of those go. So that was a bit of misjudgment there. I did think while I was playing that, this could be a bit tricky. I think it's worth a shout here. So we're going to place an element of safety. Play this really thin.
That's a pretty poor attempt.
Yeah, we've missed it. And we've not really got the ball safe. So maybe 100% safety would have been the best shot there, rather than half and half, because you can always leave the red on. Really, we've only had sort of fits and starts so far. Not really got into the first frame. But Brissell might go for the jugular a bit more here and open things up. He's opened a few up. He's not gone silly, but he's given himself a chance on a couple of reds. I wouldn't like that one particularly that's right on the cushion. It's not ideal. Put that out of play slightly, and with the blue out of position, it makes this break a little bit more uncomfortable.
9.
See, if that blue was in its natural position, he probably could have potted that and went on to play that one on the cushion. But that's not available to him, so he'll take on the yellow here. I don't know how he gets back position. I think he's just forfeited. He's not going to make too much here.
Well,
unless he can... Ooh.
Here.
He has lost position, but I'm just thinking there might be a half chance on this red he's playing. Yeah. Very good pot. Very much took it as a half chance and played it with safety in mind. He's trying to get behind the brown. It's not really worked for him, to be brutal. Oh, where's this cue ball going? That's worked in our favour slightly. We have left the long red, which is easier in game than it is certainly in real life to play. So he might have a chance here. Just wants to play that thin to avoid the dreaded kiss on the red. But Brissell hasn't made that easier. He's missed it, and he's potentially knocked a few reds into play. He hasn't done so, to be honest, really. It's not anything that's going to be too much of a chance for anybody. So, yeah, just count our lucky stars there. Red should move over to the other side of the table. We're going to get some cover with the green. Possibly. But if not, it's a tough angle from there. It would only be a half chance, but he can see this. He's taking it on. And it's there. I feel like we're just giving him a few too many tempters there. Missed the first red. That was a potential opportunity. As I say, we haven't quite gotten into our game yet. And neither has Brissell, really. I'd say he's snatching at chances slightly. He's chasing the cue ball around. That blue being put on the cushion was, well, to be blunt, a nightmare.
15.
And I don't think the three reds, I don't think they go. Not to the pocket he'd like, anyway. There might be the one that goes to the middle, potentially. So, he's made sure they go now by splitting them up. And I think this is Brissell's frame to lose now. Pink goes onto the blue spot, which helps. It acts as that blue ball. Which gives a bit more security if he's not quite on the black. But just a few many chances given to our opponent, I think, early on there. The way we win snooker matches and do it well is when we're lethal. We get in and have one chance and we take it. And we had two, and we only made 37, so a little bit of a disappointing start. Still early days, though, of course.
38.
Ooh.
39.
It's an awkward black now, but luckily he has got the pink. The pink has dropped. I thought for a second it might not do.
45.
So just this...
Just the colours
well,
now.
He got the yellow anyway. He's got 28 points in hand. And that yellow pretty much confirms it. Again, we won't probably be coming back to the table.
50.
And I'd guess he'd clear up here. That was a good shot to get on the blue from there. But he has missed it. What's the snooker situation like now? There's no point this early on. We'd need, what, 5 snookers? I suppose if it's 5-point snookers, it's 4, isn't it? But no. I think at this point we concede and get on with the next one. So Brissell takes an early lead. As I said, we're probably looking to try and get back into the match at 1 each. It's not a terrible concern if Brissell goes 2-0 up. But something to keep an eye on. And we didn't really want to hit the jaw there, but at least this cue ball's come far enough across the table to not leave anything that's too tempting. Although he's going to think he might take this red on. Very much a half-hearted shot to, well, quite literally nothing there. So we've put the one red back into the pack. Back up to bulk. There's that little attempt with the one on the cushion, and I think he possibly tried to play the pot. I think he might try it again here. I'm not sure what he's trying to play, to be honest. I don't know if he's trying to move it back towards the black or whether he is indeed going for the pot. But certainly after this shot, it's not going to be an attempt. So it's far too far away to have a thin nick at. So this much more of a safety scrap. Green, blue, already off the spots. But that was a bit of a misjudgment. Didn't play that at the right pace at all. He's given us a chance here to get in. And this one to the middle is probably the best shot to take on positionally. And there we go. We've got the first pot. Just a misjudgment from Brissell, hitting the reds on his way back. I've done it before. It's painful. Heart sinks when you know it's going to happen. But it's to our favour. We get a chance, and hopefully, to some extent, we can get a decent break going and maybe get our eye in a little bit more than we could previously. I think this should be a plant here, I would have thought. don't see too much of an issue, but I just, again, go, oh, I'm not too sure. Looking at this, though, it's fairly straight to the pocket. Surely this should be a plant. I'm just worried, is it a little bit too close to that jaw? I think we play a little bit safer and go with something we know a little bit better, personally.
Half a chance here.
Yep, so the red's there. Good pot. And this should just come up just enough. And it is quite literally just enough to play the black.
7.
Any further and it would have been a little bit of awkward queuing there. So good decision made, I think, in the end, not to go for that plant. It might well have gone and been all singing and dancing, but again, when you start to have doubts about shots, it's when you start to regret them, I think, if they don't go in.
He just wants this to drop gently into the pocket.
Oh, that wasn't good enough, though. That wasn't good enough. Not been our day. Early on here, at least. I'm going to play safe. Just haven't quite got our shot decisions right. But I think rather than going and doing what we've done in the past, just ramming into it and keep playing till we pot, I think we just play a little bit more reserved. And crucially, make sure we don't give our opponent a chance. You know, it's okay us not playing too well, but don't give your opponent a chance at the same time.
He fancies this red.
Oh, I've done it again.
He's hit the yellow, and that's a foul.
Foul.
That'd have been a decent safety as well, that.
4.
Hit it too hard so that we'd come back for the yellow, and that just gives Brissell too much of an easy chance. It's not going our way early on here.
8.
Three times in fairly quick succession that we haven't hit reds when we've tried to hit them, which is a concern. Again, it's just trying to play too thin sometimes. But then if you start playing a little bit thicker, then you give more chances away. Ultimately, we've just got to get close to the power bar.
17.
So let's see what Brissell's made of. It's his first chance at the table. We made diddly squat, to be honest, of what we had initially. And he's gone
24.
maybe slightly, you could say, for the jugular. He's brought a few reds into the play. He's at least got 5 reds in play now. That cluster of 4 probably been something he'll worry about a little bit later. But this, I would say, is a real chance
25.
to double his lead.
32. 33. 39.
Tell you what, he's taking this by chance, though, with some of the shots he's playing. He's not quite perfect on some of these, in my opinion.
And in it goes.
But nevertheless, these breaks, it's funny, isn't it? Once you get in, you can really start to accumulate points very quickly. And if you can get these 2 reds with high value colours, he's nearly there.
54.
He's tried to slightly open those up, and I think there is a gap, which you can see the 1 red, and that's all he'll need. As long as he gets the one that's loose, and then another red, that'll be enough. But a long red on here, which is safely dispatched.
Tremendous shot.
And then how does he get on the other one? Let's see. He's going to play the green. Come back down the table. Don't want to hit the blue.
58.
And this red should be on. This one will win in the frame if he can pot this. No, he can't see it. Well, it's very much
58.
a sliver of a chance we've got now. Well, actually, no. Well, he did need the colour to win the frame, so actually it's not as bad as I thought. I thought he was 57 ahead. That's my terrible maths showing there. So 47 behind, 59 on. So if he'd have got the next red and a colour, then he'd have won the frame. But as I say, not quite as precarious as I initially thought. And he's opened things up, needs a bit of help. Not sure about that. And this is looking like it could be a chance for us. Long red to pot here. This will really open things up if we can make it. And it's there.
Well played.
So two at varying degrees. All three of the remaining reds can be potted, but as I said, to varying degrees they're on, or as I say, not. Let's play a bit of side there just to get back in.
8.
But plenty of times in the past we've had these sort of chances, and well, to be brutal, I haven't took them. So very important we try our best to take this chance.
He won't be happy with that.
Wow.
Neil Robertson, 8.
Well, he's
I
looking
think
at
a
potting this.
bit of a
with the right
rusty
pocket.
start starts to get a bit worrying, if you ask me.
That's a top shot.
If we're missing shots like that, we've got a problem.
And on a bit of a roll at the moment.
1. 8.
Sure, it wasn't a massive chance to get back in, but we could have made a bit more than that, for goodness sake. Just haven't got our eye in yet.
Luca Brissell, 9. Frame
So,
conservative.
2-0 down.
Luca
As I
Brissell.
say, we usually make good starts, so this is a little bit out of the ordinary, a bit of a concern. As I say, the first 2 or 3 frames are crucial, so you would have to say that I think this frame
This lead will be a concern.
is big.
Needs to settle
A
down
real
bit
big
here.
frame this. Could do with bringing it back to 2-1, because 3-0's a long way back, and if we continue to play in the same fashion, well, it could be a quick trip home. It's fair to say, though, that after some really good run of form, after a really good run of form, not after some really good run of form, after a really good run of form, we haven't got past the quarterfinals in
6.
any event, of course, since we won the German Masters now. We
Great shot.
only got to the quarters of the Welsh Open. We got to the quarters of the Grand Prix.
7.
So this, a bit of a concern.
12.
And as you can see, Brissell made light work of an opening red, which is a good pot and well deserved to be in.
13.
And all we can do is wait now.
Luca
And I
Brissell,
think,
30.
a little bit like us, he's not took that chance to its full potential. And I think, surely, that there has got to be a wake-up call.
He's aiming to sink this into the right corner.
Surely not. Where's this cue ball going? Well, can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Foul. Luca Brissell, 4.
Fair to say it's not going right for us so far, but there is time to turn this round. Again, I do say I think this frame is really a crucial one for us to win.
Tremendous pot.
3-0 down, and we need a lot of confidence
1.
and a lot of bottle to win it from there. But I don't think we've made a break higher than 10 or 20 all day so far.
Nine.
Do have days like this, but again, we just want to try and nip that in the bud. And it's not exactly like we've had no chances. We've had a few chances. The last frame, that was I think that was a real big chance, to be honest, to get back into it. I underplayed it a little bit at the time, but considering where we were, looking down and out in the frame, to be 47 behind with 59 on, and have all reds in potable positions, that was criminal. And we just tried to play it a bit too hard,
24.
get onto the blue because we didn't fancy the black. But Brissell's having no such problem.
25.
If you can win the frame at this visit, then from 3-0 down, it is a long way back. Not impossible, but a long way back.
33.
So I think it would be wise if we lose this one, just to get a little bit wise, and just it'd be wise to get wise. What a silly phrase that was. It'd be wise to start
37.
playing a lot more safety, a lot less aggressively, but, easier said than done with these things.
42.
He's got 5 reds left on the table. This next red, and I'm sure of it this time, I haven't got my maths wrong, this will
was
win
the key shot. If
the
this
third
goes
frame.
in,
We had one
fancy
shot in that
for the
frame. One shot.
43.
And on those occasions, you have to hold your hands up and say, I couldn't have done much better. I'd rather I didn't really make many mistakes. But Brussel's played well so far.
51.
He didn't make much of the first chance and just sums up our day to date. And we potted the red and went straight in off.
54.
And that sums up our day so far. But there is time to change it. Maybe precious little time. We obviously need to win the next frame. We need to win all 4. So we've had a good mid-season, a very good season so far to be honest. I think whatever happens till the end of the season, it can be regarded as a good season to close the Snooker 19 career. But again, it would be nice to win one of the Coral events.
Look at Brussels.
Well, not quite made the century there, but
Conceded.
it was a good break from Brussels. And obviously we had one shot at the start of the frame.
Thank
We
you.
had one
Full
shot to
frame.
pot the red, so actually we've had 2 shots. It wasn't just the singular shot that I said we had. But yeah, we've got to be a lot more clinical. Simple as.
This really is tricky.
So there's a chance at the start of this frame. It's nice to get a pot on the board, that's for sure.
1.
But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be too much of a chance. So one thing for certain, I know I'm stating the obvious, but we need to start playing a lot better than we have been so far, or else we're going to be out.
Neil Robertson, 1.
Brussel's navigated that snooker fairly well,
Not what he intended at all. He'll be annoyed with
but he
that.
has left a starting chance.
One.
So let's see what we can make of this. Want to avoid using side, to be honest, this early on, because that can make your shots go a little bit awry.
8.
Pace is key.
So let's get in the groove. We know we can do it.
9.
But again, talk is wonderful. We've got to show we can really cut the mustard.
16.
We're going to need a good comeback here. As I say, it's not all over yet. Not by any stretch. Oh, that's come too far. That's come way too far.
It could have been worse.
17.
No. Oh, well.
This could be very tricky to get out of if he plays it well.
Wants to make a lot more of
Not what
that.
he intended, but it's worked out
It's
okay.
just not happened for us. It
Neil
really
Robertson,
hasn't so far.
18.
Don't quite know what happened there. He shot a red right up the table. So I'm not quite comfortable with that red up bulk, but I think we've got away with ending that break early
Tough.
pretty well. You know, we've got a red left for us.
And the cue ball has finished very nicely.
1.
I think we just have to go for what we're best at here and go for the jugular and open things up.
Well, I'm not sure we'll be
well.
too happy with that.
8.
So I think we're just best playing off this.
Neil Robertson, 8.
And the bike starting in the background. Wonderful. use this red to our advantage. Again, we're just trying to get onto the black cushion here. Not leave anything on. Or if we do, you know, nothing that's easy. But Brussel's wise to it. He's not going to play anything stupid. As I say, I think in this frame in particular, we can't give anything away. We can start to be a bit more aggressive if we can win this one and maybe the next one. Because I think at 3-2, we're back into the match. But this frame, it's just all about winning it at whatever cost. I think showboating and, you know, yeah, the ball's not quite going our way. We're not getting the run of the ball so far. So we're not really wise to do too much that's out there. Now he has left something to the middle pocket. Which again, I don't think it would be unwise to take on.
So close,
Wow.
but he's missed it. That'll annoy him.
Well, that just about sums up our day so far.
Well, it goes. Half a chance.
I said it might be wise to take it on, and clearly I made the wrong decision there. Just not been in this match so far, and the way it's going, I think we're going to struggle to get back into it. We haven't taken our chances, sure, but we haven't done a lot wrong. We're just playing against a better player so far. Again, I'll say so far, because it's not all over yet.
Well, an excellent pot.
7, 10.
And Brussels only makes 10 out of it.
Snooker Brussels, 10.
It's half a chance, but a chance nonetheless.
Well, I blew that formula of win the frame by any means necessary out the window with that shot, didn't I? But I think that I was fairly confident that was going to go in, and you live and die by your decisions, and sometimes they don't go that way, but I think we just needed something to open up the table.
Sink this into the left corner pocket.
We're just not taking half chances and things like that today, at least so far.
Superb cueing.
So
6.
that is a better chance for us. Things are open up a bit more for us.
Nicely onto the colour.
Not really come up enough for the blue, so it might be one of the bulk colours here. Don't like the blue, I really don't. I think we just make sure of the pot here, you know.
So, this pot into the right corner.
Don't worry particularly about position, although we have got it, which is fine.
That's a wonderful, wonderful pot.
10.
I know they're opened up a bit, but again, it's just not
He's only
quite
to sink
comfortable
this
at the
into
moment.
right corner. No issues there.
There we go, we've opened them up a bit more now, albeit the black
Form at the moment.
off its spot, but it's in a decent position there. I don't have any qualms with it being there. I think with that shot, that's given us a much better chance. Much more open table, I think, to
I'm not surprised
take
he's
advantage
taken
and get our first frame on the board. Hopefully the first frame that signals a comeback. But we just need a bit of confidence, and after the way we've played, I think it's fair to say that we haven't got much of it at the moment. We know we can do it. We wouldn't have won what we'd won so far this season if we hadn't. But we've hit a stumbling block so far.
17.
So let's see if we can change that. Get back into this match. And I'm not going to start trusting topspin anytime soon to change our fortunes. Want a guaranteed position where we can. And even then, that wasn't a great...
24.
Well, it's more than a touch, isn't it, on that that red there. It's a more favourable kiss on the pink. Again, I think that was a bit more than a kiss.
Looking to play this softly.
32.
This is the real crunch time for the frame. If we can get this red, in fact, let's just make sure of the pot, you know. Make sure of the pot. And we get our
the red
first one on the
required.
board. Well, it only just dropped in. It wasn't comfortable.
Should be it. No real way for
But that
an
should be
opponent
our
to
first
maintain
frame on the board. We're not playing our best, but if we can get some confidence, as I say, we
Drop
might be
this
able
into the
to
right corner.
get back into this match. Again, I said it earlier on today that momentum is a funny old thing in this game.
38.
Don't think there's any problem staying at the table, playing a few shots, getting our eye in a little bit more. Admittedly, that red on the side cushion is going to be tough to get on.
Playing this with a lot of power.
This could be onto the bulk corner pocket. I think that's the first run of the ball we've had all day.
46.
He's looking to pop this into the left corner pocket. No problem there.
47.
So I think we've just got to play, yes, with the safety with in mind, but I think we also have to play that we've got nothing to lose.
51.
Well, that sounds ludicrous at this point, but
Just
bit of a
colours
mix
left now.
between the two and we might be alright. But now we've got our eye in, we're starting to get position a little bit more. Now we've done this plenty of times, clearing up the colours. But when you haven't got confidence, it's funny how the simplest things become hard. And I think clearing the table here would give us a lot of confidence
Half
that
a
we
chance
can do
here.
it. Not as clinical as usual. We're needing a few chances. We're not quite taking those chances first time round. But, as I said, things can change.
The long pot's on, and he's going for it.
Really impressive cueing.
65.
Dog barking away. Might not quite be on the black. It was tough to get round there. Again, it's judgment of pace sometimes. But if we don't make this, I think we can forgive ourselves. Been a good break of 71 at least. We'll go for the black. We've got nothing to lose. No, it's a little bit off its marks, but I think we can be happy with that. We can be forgiven
Neil Robertson.
for missing that black. A good break of 71, by far the most we've made all day. And now we've got a glimmer of hope. We've got our first frame on the board, potentially back in the match. Can't take our eye off the ball though. We still need the next 3 frames to have a chance of staying in this tournament. Let's take it 1 frame at a time. And a good shot there, Brissell, but there's a nice target in behind yellow and brown. Don't quite think we're going to make it there, and we're going to leave a chance on. It was a good shot played by Brissell. I say it was going to be tricky to leave the cue ball completely safe.
So, this pot into the right corner.
1.
Does he just go for the jugular and try and get it over with? Let's see. We've done it before where we've got 1 frame back and it's not really led to anything. But again, we didn't do a whole lot wrong there. Just a bit unfortunate how, again, he'd played some good stuff, and that's the way it goes sometimes. The game can be already lost, in effect. What we do now, we can do our best, but the game can already be lost by those first 3 frames that Brissell won. He's out of position here. Needs a mighty cutback on the black to stay at the table. He'd be very brave to play that. Yep, just playing the safety.
Luca Brissell, 16.
That's the cue ball. It's okay. So let's see who is victorious in this little exchange. Need a bit of help, potentially, here. The balls are close to the cushions, so, again, it'd take a good shot from there. But it's not impossible.
So he's looking to play safe
No,
again.
just playing safe.
It's fascinating. It's that one on this cushion that I'm aiming towards now that I'm worried about. Tricky shot here. I know that if we don't play this right, this could be our last. Just what if we play this thin? Could still leave one of these two reds on the side cushion. I think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I don't think we can get out of that. Yeah, it's less of two evils, really. We could play a really thick safety shot and leave a big chance. It's lesser of two evils. He's playing well here, Brissell. He's containing us, and there's not a lot we can do.
This isn't easy.
1.
So no surprise really there that he's potted the red. It's going to be tricky for us to get out of successfully. So it's the lesser of two evils really there, leaving that chance as opposed to a huge one.
8.
But this might develop into a big chance.
Pace is very important.
9.
And he has opened up the table now. This is a big chance for Brissell to end this one. And finish us off in the Coral Players Championship.
17.
Perhaps not. That was poor shot. Needs a really good recovery here. And to be honest, he's played an absolute blinder there. Okay, we've not played our best so far today. But you know what? Brissell has played very well. Not perfect. There have been a few twinges here and there. But he hasn't done too much that's been wrong. He's played some very good shots. And the table, how it is, I would be surprised if we can get back into this frame now. Gonna take a big mistake from the Belgian bullet.
32.
And he can't be consistent all the time.
37.
This little downturn in form is a little bit concerning, but we beat Mark Allen well enough, so who knows? We're just going to shrug this off if this is to be the result, which I think is a fairly likely ending now. 5 reds left on the table, 67 on, and with this red, there'll be only 59 on. So if he pots this red, that will be frame and match for Luca Brissell.
Required here.
44.
So I think we just have to say that we've been outplayed today. Not been our day. Yes, we've not been at our best, all that. But ultimately, you have to give some kudos to your opponent sometimes. Brissell came out and played well, and that's exactly what I said at the start. If Brissell comes out and plays well and we can't match him, it might be very one-sided in terms of Brissell. I mean, do we try and play
52.
some snookers out of this? Might as well.
Well, he's taking the red on.
No, we'll concede the frame there. We couldn't even pot the red. So, you know, well, it's one of those. We don't have to explain too much, I feel, here. It's just one of those days. It hasn't quite gone for us. To be fair, we managed to get 100 odd points, and I really don't know how. The highest break, funnily enough, was our break of 71. And even though there weren't any flashy centuries from Brissell, he did enough to beat us. Simple as. The scoreline reflects that. The scoreline very rarely wrong, particularly when it's such a swing as that. And we drop out of the Coral Players Championship at the quarter-final stage. Fair to say that was a match I expected to win, just didn't quite go for us. We have to hold our hands up and accept that. And Judd Trump wins the tournament. It's usually one of the top two these days. Seems like Sir Mark Williams has lost his form. And, yeah, a little bit disappointing there. So our best break was indeed 107.
Judd Trump, the champion of that event. So we dropped down a little bit more because he did get to the semi-final of that event 2 years ago. Not much real change, I don't think, in terms of the rankings. Luke Brissell has gone up to number 9. I'm fairly sure Sean Murphy had gone to 9. But Mark Selby and Judd Trump really in a world of their own at the top there. So we're not going to be able to add the Players' Championship to our trophy cabinet. We have got the Gibraltar Open that comes up next, so we're going to be playing media matches for the first few rounds there. So we've got our first round against Reece Clark. We'll probably come back for the last 16 of the Gibraltar Open. Again, this is just looking to get a trophy in the cabinet, to be quite honest. Of course, this tournament in the long form is best of 7s until the end. So probably looking to get a bit of a return to form in this event, get a bit of confidence before the 3 real big events of the season. We've got the Coral Tour Championship. I'd love to do well in that. That's the last chance we've got of winning a Coral event in this series. And then the China Open and the Betfred World Championship. Again, 2 tournaments that historically we've not done very well in. But a good Gibraltar Open, a good confident Gibraltar Open, probably getting past the semi-final stage. That sort of last 4 stage would be pretty good for us to take some momentum into the Tour Championship and beyond. So not the best end to the Coral Players Championship, but nevertheless, you can see our most recent match form has started to get a little bit weak, but you know, you can't be perfect all the time, and hopefully we don't stutter towards the end of the season and we start to get some of that form back. And we've got some early round matches which we can gain some confidence in. I think that's maybe been the problem with the Coral events, that we haven't had time to gain some momentum. It's been straight in from the start and we've struggled a little bit, but nevertheless, it's one of those things. We'll be back on Monday then with the last 16 of the Gibraltar Open. Thank you very much for your company today, folks. I've been CIJ Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.